Oh yeah. Let me grab that. Let me grab my drink real quick. Yurt. That fast, your boy's back. Put this thing over here. Yeah. Hopefully everybody out there is doing well today. Hope. What's up, loved one? Underscore my strong. What's up, family? Let's get this thing rolling and bowling. Yes, yes. We got a different look tonight too, as well. Mm. Welcome to the Respectfully Great podcast. This is episode 29, and I'm happy and super blessed that we are here sharing the same sentiment. We are riding the wave of the same frequency. We are synchronized, and it's a beautiful thing. So, first and foremost, give yourself a round of applause. That's how we kicking this thing off tonight. Yes, we'll sip of this thing real quick. Mm-hmm. If we have, I just finished adjusting some of my equipment. By show of thumbs up, fire emojis, or something like that within the chat. Just let me know that we are all in the building right now. You can hear me well. I'm going through some of the other settings to make sure that we all are locked in. And just making sure on all platforms we are doing what we're supposed to do and it's looking right. Right now, we are live on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, StreamYard. Those are all of the platforms where we are live at the very moment. So if you know somebody, tell somebody to pull up, If you're in the building, I'm commending you off the bat just for showing up in real time. That's a beautiful thing. Um, yeah, just let me check this one last thing. Go here, making sure that we are tapped in. Oh, she had that. Okay, no. Welcome back. Mm, see, it should be. So it should be live right now. Just double checking some things really, really quick. Just making sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. I think it is. Let's make sure this is right. That looks right. That looks right. Switch back over here. Mm-mm-mm. How are you guys doing today off the rip? Hopefully your day is going well. Hopefully you learned something. Oh yeah, we are. There we go. Yeah, that's how I like it. It's up. Now it's up. Yes, yes, Shark. What's up, loved one? Shark is in the building. What's up, King? How you feeling, family? Yeah, we are tapped in today. Today's a beautiful Thursday, which is normally what we do. Go live. We show that love. We come in here. We exert our energy in the right places. And it's a beautiful thing when we all able to come together and just share our minds and our thoughts because we gain so much more perspective about life. Today's episode, let me is sponsored by just the thoughts that we have throughout the course of the week. This is something that I've been thinking about lately. And I think this is a topic that we all can relate to at some various times in our lives. I think that we can share our experiences. And that's the main thing here on our platform. We want to be able to come together and have great dialogue about what we normally experience every day and some of the things and some of the ills and some of the woes and some of the victories and the rewards that we all share when it comes to how we just operate on our daily lives. So today we have a great topic. We're talking about dumbing down, and is it smart to do so, right? Let's give the right intro to the segment today and coming off like this. um Dumbing down isn't just about lowering intelligence. It's about lowering yourself to fit in, shrinking your ideas, or suppressing your full capacity. Yes, that's what it's about today. So we talking about shrinking. We talking about lowering your standards, lowering your intelligence to go along to get along. Is it smart thing to do? By show of hands, by show of response in the chat. Let me know if you think it's a smart thing to, at various times, or just simply lower your intelligence. Is it a good thing to um, always be smart? Is it smart to dumb down? Is it ever a good or bad time to never show your intelligence? How do you feel about showcasing your talents, your belief systems, your thoughts, your real ideas? Is it suitable for everyone at any given time? Or do we express and show depending on people, places, things, and environments? What are your thoughts? Is dumbing down your intelligence a smart thing to do? I want to know. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know if you think it's a smart thing to do. I know I have my opinions, and I want to go through some of yours just so we be able to get this thing rolling and bowling. You feel me? Today is our 29th episode. I'm super pumped, super ecstatic, grateful, showing them into my gratitude towards um, being able just to be in this real avatar and existing in the shared space. I think it's a beautiful thing when we able to get up every day and show gratitude towards the things that we may take for granted. People may, myself included, at various times, may not appreciate some of the things that go on in our lives, good, bad, or indifferent. And behind it all, there are lessons that we all can learn from. We can all grow in and grow out of and grow through. So it's a beautiful thing when we have Bella West. What's up, loved one? Um, it's a beautiful thing when we're able to show up in real time and just experience life and share your experiences, because we don't know how your story, your testimony can affect somebody else. And I know that a lot of these things that I expound about when it comes to topics, subject matter, I get them from my real life experiences, like things I experienced in real time. Some happened today, some happened a few weeks ago. Something was a thought that sparked an issue, concept driven when it comes to the topic at hand, whatever that day is. So it's a lot of ideas, a lot of um, real life and real time reactions and responses to my thoughts, my feelings, and my emotions. And I know that me being human, me being someone um, of nature, someone that share the same type of ideology, sentiment as us as human beings, I know that we all go through some of the same and similar things. Some are different, but ultimately, every story counts because now we can learn from it. We can learn what to do, what not to do. And I love to hear your story, because there are paths that you all walked. And I heard something from someone else. I forget who said it, but they said that a lot of times, if we were in that person's shoes, 9 times out of 10, we may make the same decisions that they have made. Sometimes we question ourselves, we question other people. We look at a celebrity and we say, well, why would they ever do that particular thing, whatever that decision may be, however they act, etc. And a lot of times, most of us, with their background, their wealth of knowledge, the lack of knowledge, we may make the same type of decision if we were in their shoes, because we are ideally thinking like they are thinking, right? So I love to hear, I love to share some of these thoughts and the belief systems. If I were to kick it off, right, and I were to think about um dumbing down or going along to get along, I share my experience of being someone that was a people pleaser at various times during the course of my life. And that had led me to um, some good things and not so many good things at various times in my life, right? When I had this sentiment at the time, very early on in my adolescent years, I found out that, going along to get along was a good thing, because I felt part of the crowd. I felt one with my fellow friends, classmates, um, all of the individuals, family, friends, etc. All of the people that I surrounded myself around. I felt a sense of peace, belonging to those selective groups, and at the time, it felt good, right? I didn't really know no different. But as I started to get older, there were some things that would come up that I felt, although this is the goal on to get along, this is what everybody else is doing, I started to feel some level of resentment, because I was doing some of these things, and in my heart, I know I didn't want to do them. And this is where the conflicts start to arise. I started to feel, hey, although it looks good from the outside, looking in, everybody's going along, everybody's enjoying themselves, but I'm not as happy. I'm not enjoying myself as well as everybody else may seem to be enjoying themselves. So as I started to get older, I started to value some of my own opinions, even when they differ from other people. It was a challenge though. I started to find myself being really, really challenged when I had my own thoughts and my belief systems and they differ from other people. For so long, going along to get along, I felt a sense of comfort. It was low risk, high reward, meaning that I didn't risk being scrutinized. I didn't risk being ostracized. I didn't risk being someone thought of as an outcast, somebody that's outside of the loop, right? As my uncle would say, man, you don't want to be outside of the bubble. Shout out to Uncle Dougie, man. You do not want to be outside of the bubble. So these are some of the ideals, some of the belief systems that I held really, really strongly onto because I felt like um, this is how I, got along with others. This is how I fit in. And then once that time started to pass and I started to really build up self and really start to find myself because I was asking a lot of questions about who I am, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Do I feel a sense of comfort? Do I feel challenged? Does this feel normal? Why do I have a feeling that it doesn't like really sit right, even though this is the norm of what I already created in my space and my environment with the people that I enjoyed their time and place with. Right, I started to feel really, really challenged, and there was a gut feeling within me that felt like, although this is the norm, I don't feel as normal. Then turn of events, started to get older, started to say, hey, maybe I shouldn't just go along to get along. Started to change that up a bit, started to be a little bit more extreme and a little bit more rebellious. Started to be someone of, opposing everything that everybody else has said. That was kind of like two of an extreme. It was a change, it was different, it felt good, but it really didn't feel like I figured it all out as of yet. And although we are constant learning and growing, so we never figure everything out in totality. But there was another aspect of self that I started to discover. I went from the go along to get along, then to the opposer, and on the opposite end, like to an extreme. And then I said, you know what, I gotta kind of find myself, or I gotta find the right balance to it all. I gotta figure out how to, you know, go along to get along in a sense, or not, or just showing up as me, as my authentic self. And that's where the real balance had came in when I started to say, hey, how about I just say how I feel? How about I act in accordance to how I feel? How about I start being more transparent and truthful when I talk to some of my airlights, when I started to communicate with other people? How about I start utilizing some of my own sentiments about how I really, really feel and come in these spaces and just being honest and being transparent? I started to learn some other things about that as well. Some people could take that as a sign of weakness. Some others can really, really appreciate that. So there was it was a plethora of emotions, is what I'm explaining. I'm saying that I've gone through almost all uh, uh, emotions when it came to finding oneself. And then I came across this topic that we're talking about today about, is dumbing down a smart thing to do? And it made me really, really ponder because there are various times in my life where I've done it all. When I was a child, right? And I'm still someone's child, still my parents' child. But when I was adolescent, when I was young in younger years, right? I found out sometimes you don't say everything that you see, right? So that means that, hey, we outside with a bunch of friends and doing something I ain't supposed to be doing. If I went and I told, then I was the tattletale. I didn't want to be the tattletale. So although I knew better, I chose not to, so I can go along to get along with my family, friends, and not get anyone else in trouble. But to the flip side, there was some other turn of events where they were a little bit more serious um events that occurred or happenings that occurred to where me being fully transparent and truthful can actually help and actually save someone from something else that can be worse in the near future. So finding out that right balance on when to um speak up and then when to be quiet. I think there's an art to knowing who you are and when to apply which one. So today's topic is really geared around all of these sentiments. Is dumbing down an intelligent thing to do? Is it smart to do? Who's to say? What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? How do you feel? Is this something that you think is necessary? Is this something you think that is wise? Do you think it's something that's not really that important or, has no merit or it doesn't affect other people or it doesn't affect you? How do you feel? I want to take it to some of the pros, right? If there's a pros and cons to everything that we do. So, being someone that was the nature of a people pleaser, right? I got some pros and some cons written down. What is a pro of being someone that uh people pleased for various times or go along to get along? What are some of the things that I started to discover when I did do that? Some of the positives. Some of the positives of going along to get along were self-preservation, right? Self-preservation, preserving self. When I went along to get along, when I lowered some of the intelligence, right, and not showcased everything, I found it an easier way to communicate with some people, right? Not all, some people. Meaning that if I was super combative, how would I ever have the ears or the voices or some other personnel that, hey, if I'm the one that's just always dictating and telling everybody what to do, what not to do all the time, how do I ever get a chance to hear their reasoning why they do what they do? I kind of cut myself off from actually building a connection when I didn't really open up my ears and say, you know what? Let me just take a lower route. Let me not be the expert in this field of this whatever expertise. Let me not be the one that just know all, the end all be all. Let me not be the one that just can um just run the show per se, right? How about I just go into the situation with an open mind, being optimistic, not really a pessimistic person, not looking at the downside, not looking at the cup half empty. Let me not be the person that just doesn't look things from an upside. How about I go into this thing with an open mind and open heart? Some of the things that I learned about doing that thing, right, going along to get along, I started to figure out that I started to build some stronger connection when it came to communication. It wasn't so one sided. It wasn't a way where I dominated the conversation, the other person dominated the conversation. I felt that everybody had a voice and everybody was able to speak, right? Beautiful thing. That's one of the positives, right? One of the positives. Another thing I found out about when I did do something like that, I didn't threaten. I didn't feel threatening, right? A lot of times when we have authoritative way, when we start to speak from a place of authority, some people um can feel like as if their ego is tested. A lot of times in our society, we are dealing with egotistical people. And although we say nobody should have all of that ego, people do, depending on who you're speaking to, about what subject matter, depending on what environment. There could be some level, some degree of somebody can say, hey, who are you to tell me about me or about a particular thing that I do? How can you be this expert of something that I have experience of 20 years of doing and you only have 2 or 3 years of doing it? These are some of the pushbacks. These are some of the things that we may come in conflict with, meaning that we may draw some friction depending on if we dealing with ego, right? It's like, how can somebody ever come and tell me about doing what I do normally or I've been doing for X amount of years, and somebody's just new to this arena and coming in and telling me how to do my job or how to show up in the ways that I've been showing up that have been productive. It may there's always room for growth, so maybe their method may be better or worse, but for whatever, if we was just dealing off with ego, that door will never be open. So the ego aspect, going along to get along, finding the right balance to um, know how to sway the conversation of having an open ear, open heart, and being willing to listen, gave a right balance when I was one of those personnels at that various time. Someone that was like quote unquote a people pleaser. Was kind of a pro. I didn't just immediately shut up the doors to some of the people I wanted to build relationships with. That was a pro. Let's go to reliability. Um, when you are someone, right? We'll give this a got it. When you're able to show up, I'm talking about reliability. When you are able to show up for others, when you're able to show up for others, it shows something about your character. It shows something about your character. It shows that you are willing to take a back seat and willing to put your pride, your ego to a side to assist someone else. There are various times where you can make yourself an inconvenience, or somebody can be doing a particular thing and it could be an inconvenience to you, but you're still willing to show up depending on the personnel, the relationship. What does that show about you and your character? Somebody that they can count on. I think that is a powerful, powerful trait, reliability. Being someone that's able to show up at times when other people don't have those same outlets, don't have those same resources, don't have them same resources. Affordable car rentals, what's up, loved one? It's something that funny that affordable car rentals, my cousin is on. We was talking about being resourceful the other day, being someone full of resources, someone that is reliable. All of these things aid you into building stronger relationships. What happens if you are running a business and you have one of your employees that doesn't come to work, or they come to work whenever they feel like it? How does that affect business? What if you have a customer that's coming in and they're relying on your service that you provide, and you can't service or help them for 2 or 3 hours down the line? By that time, they may be in a rush. If you have a fast food restaurant, so they're looking for to cop and go, they're willing to go through the drive-through in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, etc., to get their food and go about their business. But what if that process was delayed for 30 minutes or an hour, 2 hours? How would that affect the business? All of all of being reliable, all of all of being resourceful. If we don't have those qualities or traits, how do we build stronger connections? How do we build stronger relationships? How do we build the reliability factor so people can count on us to do a job, to show up for a service? Ultimately, it shows that you care enough when you're able to show up and provide a service. It shows that you care enough for yourself, you have respect for yourself, you have the qualities and the traits to be someone reliable and resourceful and being able to be a leader. It's so powerful when you're able to put um some of these things to a side and not be so egotistical and so driven of ego, because that can come in the way of causing some friction that could affect your finances. It could affect relationships. It could affect future businesses. It could affect future opportunities. These are some of the things that we bypass and dismiss. Sometimes us just being courteous and having those gestures of somebody just saying, you know what, hey, I don't have to come in as the expert, right? I could come in somebody that is knowledgeable, but how about I don't overshadow some of the people that I try to encourage? Let me run that back. How about I come in and don't try to overshadow the people that I'm trying to encourage? How many times have you seen that or experienced it where there were other personnel that came in and ultimately we looking to get boosted up, some help with the morale, help to develop a skill set, and you got somebody that's coming in. with a chip on their shoulder to feel like, hey, I'm the big X, Y, and Z on campus. And then what happens to the fellow staff or the fellow people that you're trying to encourage? You start building up levels of resentment. Then now how are we able to do our jobs effectively? These are some of the things that made me think about how I show up and how I'm willing to service. It made me think about the times where I thought of me being a people pleaser at the time where I found some pros to it. Also, there are some drawbacks which we will get into, but we was talking about the balance. When we say, okay, how reliable are you? How resourceful are you? Are you able to show up and encourage, not discourage? How many times do we kill people's drive to want to come up and aid one another in the same trajectory in the direction that we all trying to go into, in ways that we all can support our dreams, our aspirations, try to feed our families. All of these things may be affected just off the decision making that we make. Sometimes is that dumbing down at that time. We're using the term dumbing down because when people hear the word or the term dumb, people feel like so taboo. We shouldn't say these words. Or when you say the word stupid, people feel really, really, you know, strongly opinionated, and people get really touched by some of these words. But ultimately, I think it drives home the narrative because these are some of the things that play on our subconscious. Although we may not say that exact word, the feeling of feeling inadequate is there. No matter which way you label it, right? The inadequacy, okay, I'm not good enough. Or I didn't do this X, Y, and Z right. Or using the word dumb, stupid, inadequate. All of these things are still in the same space or same, arena of making myself or someone else feel this type of level of sentiment. But the whole premise is, how do we build up together? So one of the things, like I said, that I've learned talking about reliability is part of that people pleasing aspect, which I did learn that it can be a positive, a strong positive, to build stronger connections, to build up stronger alignment, to have encourage people that are around me to where we all feel like we all can win and we could do this together. I think that is more powerful, way more powerful than only one person at the top of the totem pole. Because I think Jay-Z, he said, if we all win, if we all successful, we can be each other crutches. Meaning that if one of us have gone through a troubling time, because we know life is about ebbs and flows. There are ups and downs. We know there are seasons, right? Sometimes we have the summer, spring vibe, whatever, out there outside doing that thing. Vibing, get your pina coladas, get your drink on, go on vacations, chilling with your peoples, barbecuing. That vibe is right. But then we also know that the winter coming. So it get a little gloomy outside, get a little dark earlier, it gets chilly, it gets cold. It may snow all day, it may rain all day. And say, you know what? I don't got the flexibility of going outside and feeling what that heat may feel like on my face, or feeling, alive in this moment. But we know we have different seasons. And when that rain season come, when things are going awry, then what do we do? If we all are up, or if we all are encouraging one another, then those troubling times become that much easier to get through. Because I hear this all the time, and I'm really, really getting more familiar with the term of obedience over sacrifice, meaning that we show up and we do the job without having to sacrifice, saying I'm gonna give it all today, and I don't know how I feel about it tomorrow. But if you say I'm obedient enough to say, whether this happens tomorrow, whether it happens today, whether it happens 10 more times, I have enough obedience to still go through the thing and seek it out so I can have some level of success. Or being able just to get up, even if I don't initially see the success, turn to fruition, and it comes and blossoms. Ultimately, if I'm able still to show up and do the job and provide the service, that is powerful. But you get that through obedience. If you say sacrifice, I'm gonna give my shirt off my back, and this is it. This is my last straw. Then after that, you one and done. So what I'm saying is that through obedience, we able to learn some of these things. We able to learn who we are, where we are, how resilient we are, how resourceful we can be, how reliable we can be for one another. These things are powerful tools to build stronger bonds, stronger relationships. These are some of the things that are very, very powerful that we can utilize and give us leverage. At the time, doing the act, really didn't know how to utilize it to my strength. Later on, I was so rebellious against it, I drove myself away from it. But then I felt compelled to come back to it for some reason because I felt like I like what that felt like. I felt okay, play, what's up, loved one? I felt like okay when I'm not in this space and people are not encouraged by my presence, then it's like, well, how am I showing up? So finding the right balance, knowing when to apply what at what various times is very, very key. This is something that I learned along my journey of being reliable, being resourceful, being someone that's willing to not be so egotistical, knowing when to exert my intelligence, knowing when to dumb some of it down, depending on the people that I'm trying to encourage. Peace, God. Absolutely, loved one. Yeah. So these are some of the things that we learned in just about ourselves. We hear the terms, like I said, dumbing down. We immediately associate it with, you know, the worst things. But these are some of the things that we can learn from one another. That's one. Um, there are different levels of smart, right? We have book smart, you have street smart. I believe that everybody's intelligent. Everybody's intelligent. We got babies that learn how to develop without speaking. They learn how to develop different cries to get different levels of attention. How powerful is that? We have babies that learn the art of crying and learn to cry depending on what level of attention that they are seeking. Are they hungry? They have a different cry for hunger. Are they in pain? They have a different cry when they're in real pain. When they want just some attention, they have the cry for attention. That means that we are we are creative creatures, right? And I believe and I know us, learning and growing through the phases of life that we still develop these skill sets unbeknownst to us. Sometimes certain things are innate in us. We all have a unique ability. We all are different. We all got different fingerprints. Nobody in the world has the same fingerprint. That means to let you know that although we are all human beings, we all are super, super unique. And there's some things that you may do that may annoy the F out of someone else. But that's where your gift will lie at. That's where your leverage will lie at. There's some things that you may get praised for that you may end up turning into some level of dysfunction. How about just using this as an example? How about the class clown? The beautiful thing is that the attention is there, right? The class clown able to command the attention. But what happens when we get the unwarranted attention at the wrong times? And it causes disruption amongst the other classmates, causes disruption against oneself, leading you down a path to where you having behavior problems. It could be a negative, or we say, okay, this person has an act to draw attention. What about if we harness that gift, we curate that gift, apply that gift in somewhere, some acting school, learning how to be able to transgress that great energy on a platform to where they can draw the attention to them in a different setting. They can bring the people to them. It's an art in that. It's a skill in that. That's actually where your leverage is at. So learning how to be smart, when to apply smart is different variations of smart. Different variations of smart. And we all possess smartness. We all possess smartness. Some of us don't act in accordance with our smartness because we do things that may be dysfunctional, depending on where we learn from, depending on who we learn from, depending on what works in an environment that gives us the satisfaction or the attention that we're seeking. But there's another layer to that. If we're seeking the attention, what is missing? What is missing? There's something else that is missing that's seeking the attention in some of the wrong areas. I have done it. Sometimes I just want to be heard, and I did things just acting out because I just wanted to voice my opinion when I was too sheltered to do so. When I was the people pleaser and I felt like I didn't have my voice, I started to do things when I wanted to be heard just to grab the attention, just to say how I actually feel. But I acted up in a way in order just to justify why I say what I said. Instead of just saying, hey, this is exactly how I feel. And I'm saying what I feel. We all do it. I have done it. We all do these things at various times, depending on what place we occupy, depending on who we talking to when it comes to family, friends, work environments, bosses, employees, etc. When we communicate, when we come on social media, when we do these things in different times, in different places, we all show up differently, depending on what we are seeking. Because unbeknownst to us, every day we are creating something. We can be doing it intentionally or not intentional. Every day we're creating something. And even if you think that you're not the creator and you're not creative, you can just keep replaying and keep creating the same redundancy of doing the same thing of non-action. And that creates a habit within itself. Still creating, maybe not the most productive, but you're still creating. You're still developing a skill set that's really, really dysfunctional, that's going to be that much harder to break because now you're developing a habit of doing nothing. So that's where your comfort zone is at. Developing the wrong skill set, developing the wrong skill set, doing nothing and expecting the world to change. We got to be very, very careful about how we look at things, our perspectives, how we choose to show up. These things count. A lot of times we dismiss it. A simple interaction counts. I was finding the right way to lead into this as well, right? And this is the perfect time to expound on it. So over the weekend, the week, I had encountered different people, right? And male, female, whatever. Not even gonna discuss that color, creed. I'm not even gonna explain that. But I happen to be in a place in an environment where some people, this is what I felt, may not have wanted me to be in the space. So here comes where I started to think, analyze, see, can I problem solve? The first thing is like, well, is it me? Did I do something intentionally? So I backtrack my steps because it didn't happen one time, it happened about 2, 3 times. And I'm like, something is off. If it happened that many times, ideally you would think it's you. So I come into the space, occupying the space. So I'm looking around. Is it my aesthetics? Is it the way I look? Is it my conduct? Is it my boisterousness? Right? Is it my seclusiveness? What is it about that I'm drawing this kind of energy, which is like get away from me type energy from what I'm feeling? Because it wasn't just that, it was disdain. It was like the look on the face. It was like, ugh, that's the energy that was rubbing off. And then I started to have some level of intelligence and say that from Darius Daniels, he used this analogy about family and friends and people that you come in contact with in general. He says that if what I do disturbs you, that means that you don't have the best interest or you don't care about my well-being enough to um, allow me to enjoy the fruits of my own labor. Long as I'm not hurting nobody else, if what I'm doing is benefiting me and you have a problem with that, that means that you don't have my best interest at heart. So I had to assess that. I look at that. I was looking at that. So Quay. I was looking at that and I say, well, am I in this space occupied around this type of personnel? Did I do something to offend or affect anybody else? Just trying to figure things out because I'm like happened too many times, right? I went through all the bells and whistles and started to figure out. I said, what it is it's your energy that you exert may disturb some people's aura. My energy was disturbing the aura. So I'm like, okay, let's drive this narrative home. Being in a place where people may think that you don't belong, it causes other people to be uncomfortable, even yourself at times. Imagine going into an environment where or you heard someone saying something about you, or um labeling you for whatever reason because of your race, color, creed, etc. You heard overheard conversations about you, or people that look like you, or things that you do, or things that you associate yourself with. Oh, this guy wear headphones. Everybody that wear headphones, I don't like them. Imagine you heard that terminology coming from some other personnel. Then you started to analyze and say, you know what? Maybe it isn't me. Maybe it's them. I disturb their aura because they don't like what they see. You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like a them problem, not me. I learned, and I'm learning, that at the end of the day, the best way for you to show up in any environment is authentically you. That is your gift. That is your talent. There are going to be people, places, and things that are not accepting of who you are, from what you look like, from how you dress, the way you talk, with the kind of car you drive, what kind of bike you ride, what kind of skateboard you skate on, what type of money you got in your pocket, what type of money that you don't have in your pocket, the food that you eat. Somebody is not going to like what you do. But imagine you trying to fulfill that void in the whole world of trying to make everybody satisfied. What if somebody says that they love pink and another person says that they hate pink? What do you do now? What do you do now? Because they making it as if it's binary. Is either one or the other. What do you do now that you're stuck in the middle and you got to please both parties? Do you go in secret and, hey, I really don't, I really like pink, and go to the other personnel in quiet and in secret and say, you know, I really don't like pink. But what happens if they both there at the same time? Now, what is your statement then? What is your statement then? What I learned from the story from this week of being in places and being in environments and doing things and watching people react or non-react to who I am. It's just a constant reminder of me showing up the better version of me every time, and me being authentically me, meaning that whatever I like, I don't like, etc. I can stand on my own too, and I can validate that or not validate it. It may not be nobody else's opinion. You don't even have to share it with nobody. You have your own thoughts, your own belief system, your own perspective. That gives you the power. But then I heard people say that you go to places where how do you say it? Uh uh you you don't go to places where you tolerate it. I don't know the terminology. Somebody may help me out with that. Right? I can't think it. I think I don't you don't go to places where you tolerate. Go to places where don't go where you're not wanted, where you tolerate it. I don't know how it sounds, but I don't know how to don't know how to remix it. But more or less, it's saying that just go in environments and places where you accept it. Go, just be around your individuals. But if you're a disruptor, you can go anywhere you want. And I think that you shouldn't have to hide yourself from who you are, depending on where you are. But is it? How do you apply what at what time? Because there are always pros and cons to everything. Because we dealing with life when it comes to cause and effect. Every action causes a reaction. Every action causes a reaction. So no matter what you do, you're always going to be judged and ostracized. You're always going to be judged by whomever. But the thing is, no matter what their opinion is of you, you still got to take you no matter where you go. Whether they occupy that place, that space, that environment, there be no difference. So what I learned as a constant reminder, even through this week, was show up authentically you. Some people are going to like you, some people are not going to like you. But the first thing is make sure that you love yourself. And then you can deal with the other thing, the other different perspectives and ideals. Because at the end of the day, if they're not affecting your life directly, then at the end of the day, their opinion really doesn't it shouldn't hold that much weight. But we know we live in a world in a society where these things affect a lot of people. The words affect a lot of people. The looks, the disdain, the ego. All of these things affect one another. And I know that for me, being someone that was straddling both sides of the fence at various times in my life, one thing that made me whole and center is me just showing up the best version of me every time, with or without other people's opinions. We call that agency. It's a terminology. It's called agency, meaning that you be able to make a decision with or without the opinions of other people. And I think that is so powerful, being able to decide, make a decision, being able to problem solve. All of these are key skill sets that we all can learn and develop to make us stronger willed individuals when it comes to dealing with life, dealing with other people, dealing with other environments. Because there are people, places, and things that's always trying to deter you from your mission and your purpose. They're gonna be somebody standing right in the middle of the street while you're driving your car. And they may not move. Now, of course, you don't want to run them over, but find another means of getting around, beeping, honking, doing whatever, reversing, going another route, whatever it may be. There are always going to be roadblocks along your journey in your life, and we don't want to be held up or slowed up because of the opinions of other people. Everybody always going to pass judgment to a degree. Some may be beneficial, some may be enabling, some may be borderline coddling, some may be just pure dislike, a hatred, or disdain. All of these things may play a key factor if you allow it to be. What I'm saying is that if we develop the skill set of having that level of agency, being able to make a decision on your own with or without the opinions of other people, it puts us better it puts us in position to have more autonomy, more ownership of who you are and what you stand for. Trinity, what's up, loved one? It gives us the power back. It gives us the power back. A lot of times we give our power away to other people, other things, other environments, and then now we stuck without direction because that person that says something about me on social media weighs so heavy on me, it made me have a terrible day for the rest of the day. Or somebody has said something in my personal life about something that I've done or something that I did. Now that weighs so heavily on me, it made me second guess who I am. These are some of the things that I see. And it made me think about, okay, when do we use our intelligence? When do we use our smarts? When do we scale back a little bit and learn how to encourage instead of discourage? When do we, take the ownership and leader role and just say, you know what, I'm putting this right here on my back because it's necessary at this time? When do we find ways to go through? Sometimes there may be people that's just in people, places, and things that may just be in the way and they don't want to move, don't want to budge. When do we, find ways just to get over, get around, to find different routes to fulfill our purpose? Because we are constantly creating our purpose every day. Let's bring it to authenticity. We can lose some of our authenticity. We can lose some of it when we give our power away. We can lose some of it because now we don't have autonomy. If we let other people dictate and tell us what we can and can't do, loss of authenticity. There's a ripple effect in the environment, right? If leaders, right, such as yourself, such as myself, if we constantly dumb down the message, if we constantly dumb down our premise of who we are, what we stand for, then that means that when it's time to show up, we won't have the emotional intelligence or the fortitude to be able to withstand some of the negativity that may come our way. And sometimes we got to be able to stand up with that, with our belief system of knowing what we're here for, knowing who we are, knowing why we doing what we doing, having our big why attached to us, knowing that, hey, my message is bigger than, you know, anything else because I know at the end of the day, I'm going to serve. So being able to have ownership and being that leader that doesn't dumb down their message, beneficial, powerful. That means that you won't get lost along the mission. Very, very important. Let's take it down to the impact of others. What happens when we get around? I love using children as an example, right? I love using children as an example because um I just like to show um from stages of infancy, as far as ourselves. Like we all, have been children at one point in time, and we have done things like children. But as we learn and grow, we start to mature, and we no longer do things as children. If we learning and growing, but some of us may stay stagnant. We may not have learned along our journey, still operate from the confines of being or thinking like someone of adolescent, right? But here nor there, what I'm saying is that when we are adults and we start to dumb down around children, right? Think about that. If we don't equip our children with the knowing of how, why, when they do what they do, what type of direction are we allowing them to go in the real world where there are real life events, when there are real people, when there are real environments, where you're dealing with real cruelty, you're dealing with real uh 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 uh, uh how would you say it? Um not scamming, but when people just being misleading, and we dealing with charlatans, we dealing with imposters, we dealing with people that are not as authentic, and we don't have the level of discernment of knowing when to apply which one, knowing who are more likely to be trusted. I heard something from various individuals, right? And it was along the lines of um good and evil, good and evil. Um, it all depends on the circle that you in, and if the people that's within your circle, your tribe, your environment, if they all operate under the same confines of defining what is good and what is evil. What do I mean? I mean that every good isn't good in every environment. What may be good for one person may not be good for the other personnel, depending on where they come from, their background, and how they operate. Everything that's considered evil may not be evil, depending on what environment, what in play, what people they deal with, what type of oath pact, what type of understanding that those individuals have within their own community. What I mean by this, I mean that taking a child, right, and in your household, you give your child candy. Everybody that comes in the house, they may get a piece of candy, give it to your child. It's okay. What happens when your child go out trick or treating or whatever they do, right? And they immediately taking candy, open up candy from strangers, right? We know in the past that some people may not be in favor of your child or prioritize with your child because there's no connection. There's no understanding on what good is good, what good looks like, and what is evil. So people may go out in this world and commit some level of hatred to a degree to where they're looking to harm another personnel. That means that if we dumbing down around our children and we don't show them that, hey, everybody's not your friend, everybody don't care for you the way I care for you, everybody don't love you, if these people that's around here that look like us, that do things like this, we share the same type of morale, same belief system. So understanding that good and evil is applied in this environment because we know where the boundaries lie at. Outside of here, other people may play a different game. So their level of good and evil may be totally different. They don't have that same pact. They don't have that same oath. They don't have that same bond to cherish your life the way I cherish your life. Because everybody that I come in contact with, which is my loved ones, people, places, and the things that I care about, I hold it in high regard, meaning that, okay, in my environment, I don't just throw things on the floor because I respect my place of living. Or I don't go to somebody else's home just stepping outside in mud and walk all over their house and leave a trail of mud. There's a level of respect that has to be that's understood for the people that go into their home, that vice versa, they come into my space. It's the same level of respect. But we go outside of there, some people don't hold the same type of belief system. So if we dumb down around our children and we don't teach them some of these things, it can be very, very misleading for themselves and very, very chaotic in their futures and in their future endeavors. It may be something that they may be faced with and don't have the level of, you know, agency, being able to make a decision because they wasn't taught, or they don't, or us not having a level of intelligence and teaching right from wrong. They may go outside of our home and commit something that may be righteously right within our own home, but outside you may be doing the right thing to with the wrong people. Some people love to take advantage of some people that are weaker when it comes to mindset, when it comes to physicality. Some people are seeking to take advantage, meaning that in some environments, some people are just constantly looking for a one up, looking, how can I get over? How can I take advantage? In some other places, some people say, oh no, how can I work together? How can we work together? It's a different level of mindset. But if we're not taught these things, if we're not teaching these things, if we're not holding these things in high regard, we don't create a system around that. So now everything that come through that gets funneled through our communications is always going to be misinterpreted. That's how communication works. Things can get misinterpreted depending on what we allow funneled through our channels. This go through from what we eat, a food for thought, what we think, how we care for one another. Some people go in some places and environments and they think love is through abuse. We've seen that before. Some people may go in environments and they may feel that, you know, their attachment, what love looks like, is being abused verbally, physically, emotionally. So that's the form of communication. But is that communication funneled the right way through our channels? Is that the right thing for you and yours and your loved ones? But if what happens if we don't monitor that, and we don't show the difference between that, when it comes to our children, and we don't express that, we don't show them, okay, what do love look like to you? How can you tell someone loves you? What does love look like? Explain love to me. Explain love. And if they're able to explain it, and it's like, okay, we understand the concept. So anything that doesn't look like this and it feels a little different and it's the opposite and is negating what we do in here, that's not love. So having that level of discernment and having that level of prudence and wisdom, that's the thing that equipped us. If we don't dumb down, if we be intelligent beings around our children, knowing when to communicate on that level, meaning that just finding the right words to say to communicate and bridge that gap for understanding purposes, but meaning that we got to understand that we're intelligent beings and we can find ways to communicate these things and show how we love and how we care, how we can be resilient, how we can be reliable, knowing when to apply what at what time, knowing that sometimes you telling everything. If you're telling a stranger where you live and who your family, some people may abuse that. I remember back in the day when we went around, we just didn't tell everybody all our business. Yeah, people that identifying who's who and what is what, then we express that. But everybody ain't meant to be informed on what's going on with you in your household per se. Different variations of things. Let's bring it to. How about we take a quick interlude and get our commercial booming really quick. Let's go here. I'll be right back with a word from my sponsors really quick. Peace, beloveds. Thank you for tuning in to the Respectfully Great podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reed, and I appreciate your continuous support. Do you know that over 80% of the people that watch our channel aren't subscribed? By subscribing to our channel, you give us the opportunity to bring on more guests to add more value to our channel. To join our growing community, head over to respectfullygreat.com, sign up for our email list to get exclusive updates on empowering blogs, as well as the latest and greatest in Respectfully Great fashion. Once again, it's nothing but big love, and we value your commitment. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for the words from my sponsors of Respectfully Great, powerful loved ones and beings over there at Respectfully Great. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. Also, If you haven't done so, uh, uh, go to our website, sign up for our email list so you get the latest and greatest in fashion, updates on what's going on with our site, news that's coming to hit you really really soon. That's going to be super super impactful to our community. So do all those things because it keeps us abreast on what's going on in our communities and how we moving forward as we grow and continue to learn through our brand, which is respectfully great. So thank you guys who already done so, and thank you guys who have yet to do so but intend to do so. So thanks. Big love. Continues to big love. Flamingo with vision. Peace, God. Yes. So, talking about the teaching methods, um, why it's important to teach, how we can simplify to draw a better connection, funneling things through our channels to make sure that it's the right things for us and our loved ones and our communities. All of these things are great. Differentiating the differences between um dumbing down and using our intelligence, knowing when to use levels of discernment and knowing when to apply what at what time. Very, very key. Dr. Ali was talking about this too. Um, having what's the words that were used? Give me 2 seconds. Oh, um, what's the words we was using? Give me 2 seconds till it come to me. Oh, oh my gosh, I use the words all the time myself. They come to me 2 seconds. But being okay, um, the two terms for being opinionated and something that's factual. What is the two terminologies? My mind is I got like a brain fog. But long story short, things that are factual versus things that are opinionated. We got to be able to use a combination of both, depending on the circumstance and depending on circumstance, and the way we able to use more opinion, the way we drive um our opinions, right? And have a higher quality decision making, right? When we start dealing with different levels of prudence, even though it's not 100% facts, the more and more that we use, excuse me, the more and more that we use truth around us, we start to build up a basis around us of truth. This is important when we try to drive home our messages and our narratives and being purpose driven individuals when we dealing with um, creating our purpose. Although we may not have all of the answers, if we are constantly driving home and seeking and expressing truth, what happens is that over time, we start to come with more educated guesses, more calculated guesses on some of the belief systems that can be almost validated with more truth than not, because of we started to surround our thoughts, our ideologies, our belief systems around truth. So although things can be opinionated, right? Sometimes even if it's not 100% truth and it's just your opinion, you still can have a higher quality decision, and the probability of that theory may be more validated because everything that you are speaking from is from different truths. You're pulling from different truths. If we are building ourselves, building our worlds, our communication around lies, what happens when we need to use our levels of opinionated thoughts? What happens at that point? The results gonna be so far from the truth that it throws off our premise, it throws off our purpose, it throws off our communication, and we will actually be disconnected from what's going on in nature, from what's going on in human connection, what's going on in writing out what our future will entail. These are very very important tools to know how to use those different levels of truth, which is validated, versus opinion, but we can build up our opinions by just surrounding ourselves with more truth. That's the whole premise. So you can have different levels of truth and higher quality opinions that will allow you just to be aided in the right direction when you out there fulfilling your purpose. So the more truth you surround yourself, the more truth you surround yourself around, the more equipped you are to be to go out there and fulfill your purpose and keep creating and designing your purpose, and start to turn over the leaf to be more of a person that's operating at a higher self. And I think that is very, very key. So when we're talking about um dumbing down, using intelligence, you be able to make those decisions on when to apply what at what time, depending on who you're around, place, time, and environment. These are key things, and that's what I learned the other day. Like I said, when I was listening to um, uh, a segment from Dr. Ali, he had mentioned being able to pick up ourselves in areas where we're able to use higher quality decision making. And I believe that everything that we are learning every day gives us and equipped us with the tools necessary to make higher quality decisions for tomorrow. And I think these are the things that's going to constantly aid us in driving who we are and what we do and what we stand for. And it's very, very key. Dumbing down can be a terrible thing depending on who you're speaking to. It also can be a tool to know when to utilize your intelligence and when to speak when spoken to, or knowing what places to, because everything ain't for everybody. Everything ain't for everybody. Meaning that I may discuss some things with a personnel that funny. I'm glad we said this. I was watching Jadakiss and Jadakiss, Fat Joe, and Little C's on their podcast. And I was watching it today, and Fat Joe said the same thing. Funny you say that. And I'm talking about something else, but I'm drawing connection. Fat Joe was saying that he loved his brother, which is Pistol Pete. And he said that there are some places in my life that I go and I have to go alone because I can't bring everybody to some of the people and personnel that I converse with. There's nothing towards them. It's just that some of these other places, some of these other areas of my life who I communicate with, um, it's only on a need to know basis, basically, meaning that yes, I may be privy to this type of conversation. Our selective group may do some more brainstorming when we in our own space, in our own hub with like-minded trusted individuals, because some people may take the information that you give them and spin a narrative, and that can be detrimental to you. It can be detrimental to the establishment. It can be detrimental to um your purpose and how you got there creating it. So everything ain't for everybody. And this is some of the things where I love to expound about and just put that out there, just so we have the level of understanding that everything ain't for everybody. And you got to be able to build up your like-minded, your trusted circle of individuals that share the same values, that share the same sentiment, that have the same respect for the code of conduct, have the same type of respect for the ethics, the code of ethics, had the same, you know, had the same system and same morale, and hold these things with hold these things in high regard. That's it. That's how you start building. You build up oneself when you start operating that from within. How you operate on a one-on-one basis when you deal with yourself, and then when you start dealing with your loved ones and your like-minded people, you know, if everybody's operating like that, you start to build up a strong community. And this is where the message shouldn't be dumbed down. We all have these things that we operating under and we standing on. And we knowing, hey, we out there as one, as a family, gonna represent one another to the fullest. And we're gonna go out there and fulfill our purpose by doing that, by sharing our ideas with us and standing on our belief systems when we come in contact with the world, and how they present, you know, their ideologies towards us. No, there's no right or wrong depending on how you apply it, but having awareness of self is very, very key. Mastering oneself, having an identity, identifying who you are, what you stand for, knowing who your people is, knowing who your tribe is. People like us do things like this, knowing that it's very, very key in your development to be the personnel with the highest potential, and you can maximize your potential by doing that. So I really wanted to highlight that because I take these thoughts and these perspectives from different people. I listen to different things, I watch different things, I read different things, and I try to draw connections when I hear something and say, okay, they saying the same thing. They said it a little bit different, but the premise, the morale, the way they conceptualize this thought it's adding up to a belief system that I'm holding on to. And this is something I need to be reminded of for oneself, to make sure that I understand the premise. I understand the code of conduct. I understand who I am, what I represent, and I know that when I leave my home, I don't only represent me. I represent the people that sacrifice or had the obedience before me, and I understand that the people that come after me, I represent them by having the obedience when I step outside my house and keeping myself with the levels of respect and keeping myself in high regard and standing on my dean, standing on the premise, standing on um, the ideas, the systems, the all of the things that would entail what I care about and my purpose and how I constantly created. What's up, Ellie? What's up, loved one? All of these things. When I leave the home, this is what I think about, and I don't leave the house just with me. I leave the house with my belief system, my family, my my ideas, my purpose. Every time I go to any place and I show up in any place, that's what I'm representing. And I want to make sure that I hold that in high regard and high esteem, because if I do anything to jeopardize that, then I may jeopardize the whole mission. I may jeopardize the family name. I may tarnish the family name. I may do something that's at a whack that would, make people look at us in a different type of light, when the people that came before me did nothing but build this up. So it's important. I want to make sure that I walk with this within oneself. And we in the room. Absolutely, family. I appreciate that. Ellie says she's in the room. We are in the room. It's my loved ones. It's my family. Unconditional love. They're out there doing their thing, changing lives, getting that credit right. You need to go get your credit right, man. Tap in with tap, tap in with compatible consultants. They got everything on deck. You need to get your credit right. You need to revamp. You need to get access to credit and funding. They got you. Go tap in. Go highlight. Go. Send them the email. Send a message. Go on any social media, any platform. Do it right now. If you are in the building, you see this right now. Tap in right now. You gotta get that credit right. They'll help you do that. You need to go out there and get some funding. They'll help you do that. And ultimately, those are the things that are leading towards generational wealth. So that's a shameless plug for my loved ones, understanding that what they're doing is in alignment with God's work. I think everything that we're doing when we provide these services is actually changing the trajectory of how our lives can potentially be if we go out there and get the knowledge, we get the information, and we able to apply it. And that's the beauty in of us. That's the beauty within us, just being able to show up and serve. And these are the things what we talked about all today, is being able to show up and serve in areas where some people may not want you to show up and serve. So when you get that ill will feeling, some people may not be in favor of what you do, but understand why you're doing what you're doing. Understand that everybody may not get it. Sometimes some people may never get it. Some people may take a little bit longer to get it. Some people get it immediately, but that's fine, because the people that show up in real time, they understand it. They understand it. And that's where the premise, that's where the focus should go in that. Long as you strengthen that and you're able to show up and do your part, it's a W in the book, because all it takes is one. It just take one idea, and then what that one idea of what you stand on, your belief system, and how you feel about particular things. There are other people that attract to that feel the same type of way, and all of this is finding your tribe of individuals that had the same morale, that had the same belief system, that hold some of these things in high regard. Some people that take generational wealth serious. Some people that take their family name serious. Some people out there that take who they are, what they represent, their premise, their purpose. Some people prioritizing these things. And I think that when you show up authentically, you, like we was talking about, no matter what the environment say, no matter how you may dumb down or how you exert your intelligence, the thing is, if you are authentically you, your message would get across. And we don't dumb down the message. We don't dumb down the message, because it need to be loud, bold. I heard something from when they were talking about the guy that was teaching Hitler, right? And I know people have the issues with, you know, everybody has dealt with genocide and dealt with a lot of things. And I know that's just how this is, divide and conquer. This is how everybody got to where they are in their lives, as far as like when it came to background religions, etc. This is how people divided and conquered and just took over, because people were just trying to run things, right? But there at the time, how Hitler had his one of his teachers, whatever. I forgot his name. I got his name written down somewhere. I just don't have the time to go look for it. But what he did was he said that in order to get people, um, in order to have the stronger voice and have the people adhere to your mission, is that you got the message has to be bold, loud, and repeated and repeated. Bold, loud has to be bold. You got to have a bold message. Your message has to be loud and it has to be repeated continuously. So these are the things where I'm learning. Like this is how he's able to conquer and do what he did. Not bigging up the genocide and the bad thing. I'm not. That's not what we highlighting. We highlighting just how people understand how to get people on one accord. And when we start using some of these things when it comes to this day and age, everybody may not share those same type of sentiments behind your mission. And I know for me, when I heard that tactic and utilizing it in a positive, I said, okay, just be bold, be loud, and repeat your message often. And then over time, it'll grow. Sometimes it may not attract the right people, which I don't want anyway, which you don't want because you don't want the people that don't want it for themselves either. So if we show up and we know how to um, be authentically ourselves and have our messaging, right? Connecting to the right people. I'd rather have one person that's connected to the message than 100 people that just bypass and don't care about it at all. Because I know those other 100 people or the 99 people out of the 100, they're not going to carry that same type of torch when it comes to what we standing on and what we believe in. So I'd rather have the one person and over time get one more and then get another one and then get another one because we start finding our people because our people will start finding us as well. So just be bold, be loud, and repeat your message often. And I believe that over time, if we stay true to who we are, our message would get across. So don't ever feel like you have to be the smartest or the dumbest or knowing when to assert what at what time, knowing when to assert what. And I think that's how you should start to understand you. And I believe that those are some of the tools that have been allowing me to show up the way I love to show up, which is authentically myself. It's just that I understand that, hey, I know what I'm saying at heart. I believe in. I stand on it. And I'm gonna continue to keep preaching it every day, whether anybody's in tune with it or not. Or I have my brothers and my sisters that are on the same type of time and on the same mission, they recognize it. That means the world to me because I understand that is we have the same type of um morale and belief systems around the things that we talk about because we are serious about what we believe in. And what more can we ask for from the people that we showing up and serving for them just to believe in what they say? That is more powerful than anything. The people that's coming up and serve, because we got a lot of people that have a lot of false narratives out there. A lot of people that sell a person a dream, tell them anything. You got a lot of people that's just looking to take advantage. And in our spaces, you know, I know from the backgrounds and the things that we care about, our word is our bond, meaning that if I say something, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stand on my word, and I'm gonna believe in what I believe in, because I'm gonna go through it with you. So a boss and a leader that's willing to get their hands dirty in the midst of trying to bring people up during the process, what more can you ask for? I think that's power within that shows a leadership quality that you're willing to get your hands dirty just to get the job done. I think that speaks volumes about the personnel or the person that been through it. Like they talk about even some of the sports and that analysts. They said what better to have the viewpoint of the player that actually played the game. That's why we see in a lot of these spaces some of the players after they finish playing ball in whatever sport they in, they start speaking and it resonates a little bit different versus somebody that never played the game. So whatever game that you're out there playing, what you have the most autonomy in is the game of life of how you playing it. How can you not be the voice of reasoning when you all you doing is detailing your experience, detailing your life, telling people what you have gone through and how you got through it, or the things that you may be struggling with. It's power in that. It's power within your story. It's power in your testimony. In your testimony. It's power in your voice. So we don't want to silence our voices. We want to uprise and bring boldness to our voices. We want to bring loudness to our voices. We want to repeat those stories often so it resonates and it sticks. So long as we keep doing what we do and stand firm in our belief system, we winning every day. Even if the numbers don't show, you winning because you're shaping and molding your character to become the person. So when you went to the time when they call you to step on stage and blow out the arena, you know what I mean? You've been preparing for X amount of years, X amount of time. You've been prepared. It's just that the opportunity or the stage wasn't set right yet. But there's gonna be a time where the stage is set and it's gonna be lights, camera, action. So when they call upon you, it's gonna be like second nature. Like, man, I've been preparing for this moment my whole life. You've been preparing for that one moment your whole life. You're gonna knock it out the park. Because when all the naysayers say that you couldn't do it, you still stood tall and went through the fire. You still got your hands and your feet dirty. You still was out there putting yourself on the line to be ostracized, get ridiculed, all of these things to where would normally deter people from going out there and completing their mission. But they don't. Little do they know, your mission just started. You really just out there. They don't know how built you are. They don't know what's driving you. They don't know your why because they don't care about the things that you care about. The ones that's out there that see you and say, okay, I'm cheering for this personnel, because 9 times out of 10, we all have the same type of um concerns, needs, wants, values. We have our value systems are very, very similar. So when we talk about family, we talk about building up community, we talking about loving one another and being able to encourage one another. These are some of the things I see within my tribes and my tribe of people, my loved ones in my community, because I see that every day within them. Every day our conversation is about growth and development. How's the family? How the kids? Okay, what's going on? What's the next move you doing? How you getting there? Okay, how can I assist? What you need me to do? Is there anything I can help you with? Is there a person you want me to connect you with? Is there something out there that I can do in order to assist you to get you to where you need to get to? That's the type of conversation that I love to have with all my loved ones. I want my children to come up to me, yo, mom, dad, yo, how can I help you? I want them to come in the crib and yo, what you need help with? Because they know they're gonna get served. They know that I got their back 110%. So when I ask them to come up and do a service, they had no problem. Or without even asking them, they just coming up and, hey, mom, dad, you need something? You need something? I just want to help you. What you got to be a sleeve? No, I just want to help you. Cool. And then later on, they come ask you take them out for ice cream. But it's all good. It's all good. I'm just saying that the mindset of all of us, it's important. And I like to hold this in high regard because this is what I care about. And I know that my loved ones care about the same things. So let's drive this home, right? Let's get this last piece of info out. Dior, what's up, loved one? Peace, God. How you feeling, family? The last one. Let's take this last one, the closing. You close this thing out with this, right? Let's have a little challenge, right? Every time that we dumb down, we are choosing between harmony and honesty. Which matters more in the long run? Being accepted in the moment or being respected in the long run? It's important. Are we looking for respect in the moment? Or are we trying to live out our fullest potential and being respected when it's all said and done in the long run? Sometimes we do monetary things. We have temporary, impulsive responses to things in the moment. And those things are short lived. I know when I made some decisions in my life off of impulsiveness, off of instant gratitude, trying to feed my ego in the moment, It cost me time, years of headache. But when I sat back and started to curate and plant the seeds and understand that my fruits of my labor, the fruits of my labor, the fruits of my labor will be well more respected in the long run. My brother said respect in the long run. Dio said respect in the long run. Ellie said respect is key. Absolutely, loved ones. That's what we here for. Because we know our name. Our name is our name. And we putting we etching it out in society. We etching it out on that stone of fruitfulness. We etching out in stone of respect. We etching out that stone of honor. We etching out that stone of people that are reliable, that accountable, that holds high regard and accountability, that respect one another, that encourage one another. All of these things are reliant on our names. Everything that we do is either adding or taking away. So a lot of times when we start planting these seeds and we start planting those seeds within oneself and we got respect for oneself and we prioritize for oneself and we care about how we show up not only for ourselves, we understand that we carry that torch to those next phases of our lives. And when we go outside in public, we don't only represent ourselves, we represent our families and the people that had that obedience before us and the people that's having that obedience on the back end. So we know that. So now with all this riding, what we gonna do now? You have no choice but to show up the right way. You have no choice but to show up the right way. My brother Dior says, to be honest, I've been working on putting Dior to the rest. And and stand in the light as my first name, Donovan, where it counts. I'm proud of you, family, for that. I love and proud of you for that. It shows a testament to your character, family. And I want and let it go. Donovan, that's what it is, family. Nah, switch it up. Nah, Donovan, that's what it is, loved one. You know I'm with you 110%. There's a lot of, it's funny you say that. Oh man, I could go on for days about this, right? And a lot of times, even sometimes we no pun intended to anybody that gave their children their names, right? But a lot of times, like they take the example of Big Meech and Little Meech, right? They use this because I heard this analogy about this that attachment. So Big Meech, we know his story. We know some of the things that he was involved in. We know the people that he affected, good, bad, or indifferent. Really, really big shoes to fill. His son trying to walk in his shoes and attach himself to the same name. And we seen this young kid that didn't walk the same type of life that his father had walked, get himself in so much trouble trying to be so much like his dad. And that's the thing where when letting go is really the growth. A lot of times we think that holding on to these attachments that don't serve us in the highest and the best ways, it's actually a hindrance and it's slowing our progression up. We want to grow, but some of the things is hard to let go of. But until we let those things go, our growth really can't even happen. So you saying that, family, um, I'm 110% behind you, and I commend you because a lot of times that's a vulnerability that most people are unwilling to face. Let alone say that, let alone feel that, but then say that, and you said it publicly. So now there's accountability that you want attached to it. That shows a testament to your character, family. People do subtle things, and you're smart. I know you from. Come on, loved one. We been there, so I know. But my thing is, for you to do that, it just shows how much you willing to turn that leaf, family, and you got all the power to do it. And I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't care what nobody else say about it. I'm with you 110%. I'm with you letting it go, family, because now there's something else that's so much greater beyond the Dior, beyond the Dior. Now that's a time and place where I operated under those confines, depending on because of my conditions, because of my environment, because the things of how I thought. Because how I thought. You no longer think like that. So your heart is telling you to let that go. Those signs don't show up for no reason. Everything happened divinely. Everything happened by happenstance. There's a word. I'm glad we here. There's a word called serendipity, right? And I learned this, and I've been using it every week, right? Since I learned it, maybe for the last past month, I learned the word and I've been using it. But what happens is there's a word called serendipity, right? And what happens is with that word, it says that it normally people associate an occurrence or happening with something that just happened by accident, right? And initially, people may take this accident as something that's detrimental or a fault or whatnot. Initially, in the moment, momentarily, what they don't know is that that happening actually is going to serve them for the greater good later on down the line, where we don't even know when it's going to show up. And that's the power within our decision making. A lot of times we question some of the things that's happening. Nothing happens by happenstance. Everything is happening divinely. And that word serendipity, having like us being here building now, that didn't happen by accident. It's going to serve you in a greater good somewhere down the line. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next month. It may not be next year. Somewhere down the line where this epiphany hit you, you're gonna show one day. I'm like, yo, I'm at a time me and Reed was building, and Ellie was on there. We was in there rocking out. We just building, doing what we doing. That shit gonna serve you in a whole nother way that you're gonna be so amazed at for self. And that's the autonomy that I want you to have in your own life. That you've been a boss, you've been a leader, you've been somebody that been standing up for what you believe in, and now you got the decision that you make, that you want to make, that you're gonna make in due time, that's gonna be able to turn that leaf over and have your highest potential on a level where you're gonna feel rewarded. No matter what nobody else think, you're gonna feel rewarded. And I think that's the power that a lot of us be missing in loved one. Dior says, you just have to do it. I said, I moved out of the town. I'm striving in my business. I'm in the close to position to put in plates on other tables. Oh man, I love that. I had to be a better me, so I'm better for others. Cool. Round of applause, loved one. Come on, family. That is powerful, dog. That is powerful. That's showing up the best version of you so you can be able to show up the best for other people and put plates on other people's tables. Powerful, family. And look how you think. You're not just thinking for self. See, selfish people don't think outside themselves, don't think outside of self. You thinking, okay, how can I be better so I can better serve and help other people? The power, the power that it stretches beyond us, family, and certain things are innate in us, right? When we thinking about tomorrow, when we thinking about the future, we thinking about how can I assist, how can I help, how can I show up? You saying that alone, the proof is in the pudding, because you only could think, you only you only can think out, you can't think no other way other than the way you think. And a lot of times people say they want to be able to be problem solvers, but you can't become bigger than a problem if you can't think through the problem, if you don't believe that you're bigger than the problem. So all the proof is in the pudding. The way you talking, the way you thinking, the way your brain works, you are detailing your premise. You're speaking from the heart. Speaking from the heart, but you're speaking truth. And that's where your value is at, family. Don't let nobody diminish your light, because a lot of people try to, associate us from things that we were attached to at one point of our lives. And although there are some people and there's some beautiful times that we did have attached when we was serving in a different area, in a different arena, and we was in them clubs and we popping them bottles and we doing those things. Yeah, at that time it served and everybody won off of that. But some people don't want to, they want to go back there, and you beyond that, myself included. Not saying I don't want to enjoy myself, like I don't want to go celebrate with my loved ones, but I don't want to do it in that same type of fashion. I want to be able to do exactly what you said, be able to put food and plates on other people's tables as well. So now when we all eating together, it's a different celebratory type of environment. It's a different type of victory, because now it's like, oh, look how we just leveled up in another area of our lives where we all are winning with our businesses, be able to feed our families, and be doing something positive and productive, something that we can carry on our legacy with, because we can't pass down the streets. The streets are always going to be there. Be happy. Absolutely, loved one. Absolutely, family. Absolutely. I'm with you 110%. We can't pass down the streets. As people want to pass down the streets, we have one life. Absolutely, family. We have one life. And we have the power to do anything we want within it. We got the power to do anything we want within it, long as we're able to think it. You think it, you think you can make that thing to a reality. Everything starts with a thought. Everything starts with a thought. Right now, we can already have bliss. We already can have happiness. We can have all those things right now. But we don't have to wait on those things. Because once we start living it out right now, it's only a matter of time. The subconscious and the conscious can't tell the difference between reality or the illusion. We have to make it count. Big Fendi. We have to make it count. I'm with you 110%. We have to make it count. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Anything I can do, anything I can assist, anything, I'm with it. If it's about growth and development, it's about putting us in position to better ourselves as men and as women, as strong business leaders and strong people of character. I believe it's we don't find a lot of people that hold on to some of those same belief systems, and a lot of times we get discouraged when other people don't uphold those same type of morale, when people don't, value and honor the same things that we honor. Understand that those people ain't part of our tribe. Those people ain't part of, they shouldn't be part of our tribe. If the people you're around, myself included, the people that I'm around don't value some of the same things I value, then I know we just not alike. And that means I don't need to be wasting my time and energy or trying to convince people to see the world the way I see it. Now, some people understand who they are. Only thing we need to do is just be able to uplift a little bit one another. I gotta go get inspired by you. I gotta get inspired by Ellie. I gotta get inspired by my loved ones because I see the things that y'all doing. Just this conversation alone just sparked me up to want to want to go that much harder and stand more firm, more 10 toes down, be bold, be loud, be repetitive. It made me want to just keep screaming the same mission. Now we're gonna grow, we're gonna win, we're gonna be successful, saying them affirmations, telling ourselves, yo, listen now, there's nothing that I can do. There's nothing that I can do. If I put it on the table, it's an option. Like you want to put those plates on other people's tables, that's an option now. Before, some people don't think it's possible, so they never put it on the table. So if you don't never put it on the table, it's never an option. But you put that, you say, I'm gonna put plates on other people's tables. I'm gonna put plates on other people's tables. That's an option now. That's the thing. We got to give ourselves the option. We got to give ourselves the outlet. No, I can win. I'm going to win. This is how I'm going to win. I'm gonna detail that now. This is how this is how I'm strategize. This is who I'm gonna connect with. This is the type of finances I need to roll in. I gotta go get that funding from compatible. I gotta go get that money right. I gotta get that money on right. I need to get my credit right. I need to do all these other things just so we can make these things a possibility. So now we thinking from an investor standpoint. Now we invest, no, we investors of our whole lives. So we invested in our health, we invest in our wellness, we investing in our mindset, we investing in the things we put inside of our body, we investing in our finances, we investing in the people we come in contact with, we investing in our family name, we invest everything we doing, we investing, we investing. And whoever don't see it as such, then that no pun intended, we don't love you less. It's just that understand that you may not be in alignment of where I'm going with my mission. The 700 Club, Big 50. The 700. The 700 Club. That's where I need to be at. I'm working it. I'm working it. I'm working it. I'm working it. Be more disciplined. Be more disciplined. That's what it takes. I know for me, boy got vices. Everybody, I know for me, speaking on I, boy got vices. So I know some of the things in my life I had to cut out because it became more of a distraction for me, you know. So certain things may work well for other people. Some things aren't a distraction for other. Some people are able to cope. Some people do things a little bit different that enable them to be the best version of themselves. I know certain things that I was doing the opposite for me. Some of my vices, some of these things that I was doing was causing me more time, money, and energy. And we know we don't get the time back. The money could come and go. We know that. So many ebbs and flows with the money, ups and downs. The money come, but the times where we don't get back. The time we don't get back. We can use the money to buy back some of our time if we start to utilize it the right way, if we start building the right way, if we start investing in the right way, and we start having more obedience the right way over that sacrifice. That's where I want to be at. The same thing, the same realm. That 700 Club, having that access to that money and being able to go out there and fund and push my business to another level. It's gonna come, but I know in the process before I want to be able to take the business up, I got to build me up because the business is just a reflection of the God. So I know that I gotta get right. When you change certain things, you do things that make you happy and comfortable. Watch your surroundings change. Big Fendi family. Big Fendi family. Absolutely. Watch things change and believing and knowing that's gonna change. Sometimes we can't think outside of our own mind. You know what I mean? We the first one. I heard something from a guy named Myron Golden. He said we the only people that heard every lie that we told. So sometimes it's hard for a lot of people to get out their own way, because how many times have they said to themselves, I'm going to do this and never do it? So we got to be able to dismiss that. We got to be able to say, you know what? No, I'm somebody that's a man or woman of my word. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make this thing work. I'm going to surround myself, and I'm going to surround myself with the right people, the right things. I'm going to consume the right things for my mental, my spiritual. I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to invest in me. I'm invest in me. And like you said, watch how things start to change. Watch how the surroundings change. Watch how things around you start to change. Watch how, the universe start to yield to your calling. Because now you put that thing out there as an option. Now you start talking to the universe. Yo, you know what? By next year, this is where I want to be at. Yeah, I got a way to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start having some obedience over here. I ain't gonna buy the new J's. I ain't gonna buy the new car, new whip. I ain't gonna buy the blah blah blah. I'm gonna start putting this thing on the line and start having some more obedience and watch me level up. You can't lie to yourself. No, we can't, family. You must be true with yourself so things can manifest. Big facts. Big facts, family. 110. 110. That's how we start putting things into workings. Just being showing up, being truthful and honest with oneself. A lot of us used to live off that lie, man. A lot of us used to live off that lie. And we can't we can't we try to run from the truth. The truth will always beat us home. The truth will beat us home, family. I know that, man. Every time I try to, 52 fake out as if, I could just beat the system instead of learning the rules, learning the game, learning how to play the game, learning who I am, learning my strengths, learning my weaknesses, learning my leverage, see what I'm good at, what I'm poor at, where I need assistance at, where I need more obedience at, where I need more stronger bonds, stronger relationships, stronger commitments, stronger levels of discipline. Where do I pick up these things? Where do I acquire these things? What am I watching? What am I feeding my mindset? What am I feeding my body? Who I'm talking to? What I'm talking about? All of these things be counting, family. That's why I take every conversation that I have, I turn it into to a lesson. This conversation when I bumped into these three different ladies over the weekend, I took these things as lesson. It helped inspire what we're building about now. Just even be able to get here. Everything was a seed that was planted. You, you showing up was a seed that was planted. Ellie showing up was a seed that was planted. Everybody that came through today was a seed that was planted elsewhere, and decided to show up in real time for themselves and in support the God, and to collectively we here together. We here together building, being able to say, okay, I know what I can take, and I know what I can apply. I know. Okay, I know. I bet. You know what? This is just more confirmation of me being more on my square and on my dean. So now I know I gotta level this thing up. Where I'm gonna take this, make my next move. Okay, this is my next, strategy. I'm gonna apply, or just being able to say, you know what? I got the confidence to show up tomorrow, even when I ain't want to get out the bed. I just feel like rolling over now. Now I'm getting up. Yeah, tomorrow I had some other plans, to deviate from the plan. But you know what? Be bold, be loud, be repetitive. So now we know, okay, you know what? I'm rolling out the bed tomorrow with confidence. Even for myself. I said before I even it's crazy. Things just happen divinely, man. And I really hold on to that serendipity word, because I feel like nothing happens by happenstance. I believe that everything's just a life is just a big cause and effect. Every action causes a reaction. And if we acting in accordance to who we want to be, we acting in accordance to who we want to be, I know that there's nothing on the planet that we won't have as an option when it comes to wealth, when it comes to health, when it comes to finance, when it comes to relationships. All those things, we can have the best of them, because if we constantly working on ourselves, and the people that's around us understand our premise and our mission, and they working on themselves, we just learning and growing together. And then now we should be that much stronger, because we all understand where we trying to go and what we trying to do, and we all willing to show up and serve. That's the power. That's the key. Just knowing that, okay, I'm in this space, and I know that I can relate to some of my airlights because they driving on the same narrative. They moving in accordance to who they want to be. They don't got to follow my mission, but they showing up to be the best version of themselves every day. That is in accordance to who they are and what we all striving for. Because I know that because I can see it. Nah, you taking your business to the next level. You leveling up, doing what you need to do. You working on you every day. Now I'm switching this up, surrounding myself. I'm doing that's I'm able to recognize. I know what that looked like. We able to see that and be able to see that within one another. Because we won't be here if we ain't see that within one another. Because we do that ourselves. Ellie do it, you do it, I do it. We all do it ourselves. So that's why we're able to recognize it. That's the strength. It's the power. So more and more we able to connect those dots in the same spaces. It's only a matter of time before we, along with the work that we got to put in, we recognize we know what's going on, but we keep showing up and just, you know, pushing to be better personnel. We gonna get there. It's a matter of time. It may not happen tomorrow. It may not happen 2 years from now. It may happen three. At some time, it's going to see that we plant is going to come to fruition. And as long as we show up and complete that mission and keep striving to be better individuals every day, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. And in the midst of us winning, there may be nobody patting us on the back, but we're gonna pat ourselves because we know the work that we put in. See, we can't never deny the work. The work will be proof in the pudding. So even when other people deny you, they can't deny the work that you already put in. Because when the time for you to be on that big stage and the calling is there, you're gonna be so well prepared. How could you not been prepared for that moment? You had to been doing something. So people, how many times have we seen people say that he was ready and they go in there and two minutes in the round they knocked out because they wasn't prepared. 2 minutes in the round, man, they out, they sleeping. It was out because they was out partying. They was doing everything else under the sun instead of equipping themselves. So we not gonna be able to fake it. We're not gonna be able to fake it. And that's what I value most because I'm like, I, I I know I can get out the bed. So just keep working. Just keep working. Yeah, no matter what nobody else say, no matter what people may doubt, no matter what people may labels they put on you, don't worry about none of that. We gonna win. We gonna win because we willing to show up and do the work. And that's the difference. No matter the things that we can acquire skill. We can be better. We're going to be better because the skills compound. Skills compound. So once we do a thing, we can find other ways to still complete the task. It may be faster. How when they started to build cars, they used to take, I forgot how long they used to take to build a car until Ford and came with the assembly line. And then mass production of the vehicles when it came with the assembly line. And we use assembly lines and everything around the whole world. But until then, to put things and put cars in production, I think it took months or whatever, long time just to put together one car until they put together an assembly line. And now they start mass producing vehicles. That's the same way we start to develop our skills when we compound them. We start doing the thing one way and not even knowing, yo, listen, man, I found 5, 6 different ways I still can complete the task and get the job done. Because I've just been doing this all. I tried this, I tried that. I found more effective ways for me to still to complete the task because you was able to show up. Some days it may when you show up, days that you don't want to show up, you learned a new skill that day. Something that you had not learned if you didn't show up and you say, I'm gonna take the day off. You developed a skill that day. So you learn something that when people mostly quit or when people deviate from the mission, you learn a skill that they didn't learn. You learn how to fight through the pain, fight through the tiredness, fight through, the naysayers. You was able to fight through those things. So when people only can do things when there's perfect conditions, you know how to work when there's imperfect conditions. Whew, what they gonna do now? Yeah, some people need to they gotta have their tea, they gotta have the room set at a certain temperature, the lights gotta be a certain way, their favorite show, their favorite song gotta be on, everything gotta be perfect for them to create. But when you're a creator and you create constantly regardless, you start to create when it's imperfect conditions, when it's perfect conditions, when it's subpar conditions, when all the stars align, when there's only one star, when you can't see a star, you just out there flipping it every other way, and you still be able to complete the task. That's because of the preparation you've been doing. You were showing up when you were showing up regardless of the conditions. And that's how I feel about what we do. That's how I feel about what we do. Yeah, when everybody may be home sleeping, doing whatever you're doing, that's cool. We building. Beautiful thing. Of course, we still got priorities and duties, but I'm just saying that if I were to do this or indulge in my vice, I would do myself a disservice if I chose the vice over doing this. I would rather do this every day, all day, than being able to go out there and do something that I know in the long run ain't gonna serve me. And I think that's what we do in real time. Man, I'll be here all night. I'll be here all night, family. I love y'all unconditionally. Um, Anytime, my line is always open. Tapping with the God. We can build, we can put some plays together, we can do whatever we need to do. Just even just keeping the regular contact of just encouraging one another just to keep pushing. I think that is very, very important. Just building up our community, building up our loved ones with the same premise, with the same mindset, just wanting to grow. And I think that alone, just having a surrounding environment where people are just seeking that, I think that helps, because I know in our environments we don't get the chance to see that often. I know some of the paths that we are taking now, they wasn't available. If they were, I wasn't part of it because my awareness wasn't there. And I know that I was just more or less in the same space and alignment of doing what all of my family, my love, and my counterparts were doing. Bree, what's up, loved one? I was just doing more or less just what my environment, what the people in my environment was doing. So I was just a creature of habit, of creature of my environment. So I was just doing those same type of things. So now I know and I'm more aware of the things that I want to have attached to me, the things I want to be more in alignment with. Now I'm able to pick and choose. So now I say, okay, let me just move more or less on this accord. Let me push this button. Let me operate from my highest self. Let me operate from, maximizing my potential. Let me show up the best version of myself every day. So when I'm able to do more of those things, I'm able to show up in a different way. I'm able to show up when I'm tired, when I'm weak, when I'm sick, when I'm all these things. Now my tolerance is up. So now when I don't have perfect conditions, I'm still able to complete the task. So I work through the pain, I work through the sweat, I work through the tiredness, I work through not having perfect conditions, I work through, the monkey wrench in the game. I work through distractions. I work with dealing with limited amount of time. Just being able to show up and just being creative during the process. So I know at the time when the big stage and the lights are bright, and I gotta go out there and perform. All the times that I was um, preparing myself and still showing up, being consistent, being bold, being loud, being repetitive. Underrated Nas. What's up, Nas? What's good, God? Yeah, my little cousin in the building, the God in the building. Yes, sir. Oh, big B Day too. Big birthday shout out to Nas. Yeah, big B Day shout out to Nas. Big football season for the guard too. I love you unconditionally, my boy. You heard? Yeah. So just that's what it is. We had a powerful, powerful build today, and I'm super, super appreciative for everybody that tapped in, who will tap in due time. Um, Whatever you can take and it apply it. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. Understand that just a regular disclaimer that our sentiment behind what we say is just being truth, just being true and transparent. And sometimes it may be in alignment of what you got going on. Sometimes it may not, and that's okay. So if it doesn't apply to you, then let it fly. If there's something that you could take from it and you could utilize it as a tool for you to be a better version of yourself tomorrow, I actually encourage that so much, because there's so many things that I'm gonna come back and reflect on and take and learn and grow through. So I'm appreciative for every individual, every contribution, every person that shows up. Everybody just show interest in just by just your presence. That does enough for me. And then the interaction is another level. So all these things is just all contributions to me refining and being a better version of myself. And I know that you showing up for you is doing the same thing for you in the ways that you do them. And I just encourage you to go out there and don't let nobody tell you different, because there are people, places, and things that will try to play on your heart, play on your drive, play on your discipline, play on your time, play on your everything that you want to work for you. There's something, somebody, or thing that's willing to strip you away from that. And we got to be able to have that same level of obedience to go out there and be able to conquer and overachieve in those areas, and not let distractions be the misfortune or missed opportunities that we could potentially have. So just steadfast in your belief, be bold, be loud, and be repetitive with your message. Stand on that. Stand 10 toes. Let people know, this is what I'm on. That's what I'm on. Because if we don't let people know what we on, then they may get the game twisted. So that's why you got to be able to draw that fine line in the sand. Let people know, yo, listen, I'm on this. This is what I'm doing. So you come to me with anything other than this, fam, it doesn't hold my interest and actually becoming more of a distraction. So that's what I had to do even with myself. Hey, I'm on this type of time. So you bring anything else other than what I got going on, no pun intended, but you kind of taking me, throwing me off my dean. And right now I'm trying to stay fast and be focused on what I'm focused on because I want to be able to grow, mature in these areas so I can be the best version of me, so I can be the best version of myself, so I can show up for everybody else as the best version. So it's been a powerful, powerful, powerful bill. Once again, if I said something that offended, that wasn't the intention. If there's something that you can utilize and take, please do so. If something that you don't want, dismiss it, throw it out to the side, flip it, do what you need to do with it, and don't let it affect you. But I want you to continually love yourself, love others, keep driving home your mission, and I will be back next Thursday. Anybody want to hit me up on any other level? Tap in with the God. I'm here. I'm available. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, go to the Respectfully Great page. Sign up to the email list. Do all those good things. If you like something, you will see it. You want to copy, shop, do what you got to do. All those good things. Or even just, shut the deuces. Let me know you're in the building. I love and appreciate that too. Oh yeah, Rico in the building. What's up, loved one? The God is in the building. Aye, it's good buzzing. Absolutely. But yeah, we tapped in and better go tap out. You dig? So I see y'all next week, 7 p.m. on the Respectfully Great podcast. Love yourself, baby. Love yourself.